A lot of people they wonder why I spend so much time on this topic, right? Because they're like, "Yo, you would be a way better YouTuber." Let me just stop you right there. I don't know if I really care about being what is a YouTuber anyway, right? And I gotta enjoy what I do. Now, when it comes to why I keep on talking on religion and why I keep on talking on politics and mainly religion, because that's, to me, that's where things kind of start, your belief system. And I'm not. Here's the thing. If I didn't feel like you were being lied to, then I don't think I would care what you believed, right? If you just came from somewhere where I don't know how you kind of derived at the point where you believe what you believe, then it's kind of like, okay, more power to you and your belief system. What drives me to continue on this topic is the fact that I know people were manipulated. And this is not for everybody. My content is not for everybody. And I'm okay with that. If you have to unsubscribe, please do what you have to do. However, we will continue to track down the truth like we've been doing, and we've been making leeway. It doesn't go without sorrow. It doesn't go without, like, this journey doesn't come without pain, because you realize you find what you're looking for, which is proof that you were lied to, and then it hurts. Then it's sorrow. It's like, dag, I don't know if I was ready for there to be black and white evidence of this. I was just trying to see if it was true or not. Oh yeah, it's true. Welcome everybody. If you're watching this on the replay, certain videos I can't even promote. What's up, Buttercup? Certain videos I can't promote because YouTube is the most scoundrelous. It's not less, so scoundrelful. Yeah, it would be scoundrelful. YouTube's a scoundrel. It doesn't matter who's in office, right? When Biden was in office, YouTube did exactly what that administration wanted. Now that the Trump administration is in office, all of a sudden, there's certain things I can't explain in my YouTube videos, and it gets promoted. They won't promote it. They'll promote this religious stuff all day long. They don't really care, right? If I wake anybody up. There's been greats before me. We'll listen to some of them tonight. Jordan Maxwell. We'll listen to him tonight. He was phenomenal. And he did, in my opinion, he did what he was supposed to do. He came and he spent most of his life searching the truth, searching for the truth, and he found a lot of it. Oh, she said, "See you later." Yeah. Good day. They sent you guys over because of what I put in the subject line. I am going to talk about Israel and a lot of these countries that's turning against Israel. Let's just start with that. Let's just go with that. But that's the type of hypocrisy I'm talking about that YouTube does. They only send you over because they like that type of frequency. So they sent you over so that I could do what I'm about to do, which is either infuriate you or drive you to become more of a zealot, which is not my it's not what I was hoping to do. Okay, I just watched this video. So how is the video not there? And I can still find it. It's not a problem. That's crazy. Oh, alright, here we go. The world turning on Israel. We got Kim Iverson in the house. Shout out to Kim.
To South Korea, Japan. I mean, even Asian nations are jumping in on this, to European nations, Spain, Italy, Germany even, which is something else, because Germany usually just gives Israel a complete pass for anything and everything, feeling like it cannot criticize, should not criticize. Oh, but they're starting to criticize. Let's start off with Poland. A Polish MP displayed the Israeli flag, but the Israeli flag looks a little bit different. Watch this.
Poles are already feeling Israel's attacks in the Middle East through fuel prices, but how do children feel it when dozens of times more have died than in the entire war in Ukraine? It's because the Jews are using a forbidden phosphorus bomb which depletes oxygen from the air.
I didn't even know you could say that. He said it because the Jew. I think the new word now is Israeli. I think that's what we're supposed to use. I was thinking about it. Give me a second. Let me get my chat pulled up here. And I said, is it right that I keep on saying the Jews? Because it's not all of the Jews. Let's keep it 1,000. Yes, we can argue that many of them stay on code, but do we know that they all feel this way? We don't know that. So, and my tone is for myself. My tone is not for you. My tone is for myself. So I said, you know what? Don't say the Jew. Don't say that. Don't say the Jews. If this is the Israelis, then say it's the Israelis. Because, point in fact, I've seen some Hasidics burning the Israeli flag. And we'll get to that. Oh, we'll get to that. And I don't want to be the type of person, B Dolo was good with you. I don't want to be the type of person. Doesn't matter what type of person. Let's get back to Kim Mothers.
Air and leads to their death by suffocation. More, the smoke from this bomb gets into the lungs and burns them from within. They suffocate and burn from the inside at the same time. Tens of thousands of women and...
About time that some countries got a backbone. This planet has been here minimum million years. Why do we say a minimum million years? That we know for a fact, because that's the time it takes gold to form. So there's an abundance of gold on this planet. So because something happened mid-century, 1900s, and I'm not downplaying the Jews. What I'm saying is that the Holocaust, and Jordan Maxwell's going to get into the definition of the Holocaust in a moment. But there's been a lot of war amongst human beings, and human beings dying, and human beings not being treated right. A lot. And I'm not just saying the blacks because I'm black. I mean, think about the Japanese that was thrown into concentration camps in America at one point in time. And we can go just all through history and things weren't right. So how long is the world supposed to feel guilty is my point, right? And about what happened in Germany. Now, in this Bible it says there are those who say they are Jews and they are not. I guess this Bible is telling the truth, right? Because there are some that are saying like, the Jews, we are Jews. But they're not acting like they're sorry about the Jewish Holocaust and we would never do that to nobody else. No, whoever these people are masquerading around with the other Jews and making it seem like you guys are all Jews, they are painting a bad picture for everybody. They are. So that's why this guy said it's the Jew. He doesn't want to differentiate. He doesn't want to differentiate. He just lumped you guys all together. That's it.
Israel's attacks in the Middle East through fuel prices, but how do children feel it when dozens of times more have died than in the entire war in Ukraine? It's because the Jews are using a forbidden phosphorus bomb which depletes oxygen from the air and leads to their death by suffocation. More, the smoke from this bomb gets into the lungs and burns them from within. They suffocate and burn from the inside at the same time. Tens of thousands of women and children. But if some child is lucky and doesn't suffocate, white phosphorus will stick to their cheek, to their hand, and burns through the tissues right down to the bone. It cannot be extinguished, so the cheek must be cut off, the hand amputated. Israel is committing, right before our very eyes, a genocide of truly horrific and exceptional cruelty. Israel is the new Third Reich, and its flag should look exactly like that. Oh!
Sorry about that, guys. I was zoned out. I thought I had the image of him up talking. I was thinking about like 1,000 things at one time. I apologize. The audio was up, though. We got Josh in the house. Josh, are you Israeli, Josh? Or are you Jewish? Which one? Or are you both? Shout out to Frankie Blanco's in the house. Salute, my G. Frankie, I'm wigging out in the hour and I'm just playing 80s R&B, bro. I'm wigging, bro. Starting off with D-Train. Facts. I'm wigging in an hour. Josh says no. Are you in support? Josh, are you in support of Israel? Well, we got a guy from Poland here. I think they said he was some type of officer. And he went out on the limb, man. He went out on the limb and he put up the Nazi symbol. And by the way, originally, I just want you guys to know that was not a Nazi symbol. Originally, the Nazi symbol was in the reverse position, and it was a positive symbol that had been around for thousands of years. And it was positive. It was positive. But people started studying esoteric knowledge and figured that they would change the energy. And we're going to talk, I want to talk about the energy tonight. I want to talk about water actually being able to hold information. And that's important because your body is made up of over 70% water. Slightly a bit over 70. It's around 70% of water your body is made up of. Now, if they're holding back, and by they, I mean mainstream science, right? You want to frustrate me? Keep telling me, well, that's not what mainstream scientists are saying. That's not what most scholars... When you start to use that type of, these type of words and these phrases, oh, that pisses me off. Like, you could talk about my mother, you could say things against my child, and I'll just laugh it off. But once you tell me, and you are dead ass serious, now you gotta listen to the mainstream scholars. You mean the same ones that's lying to you? But you're not trying to just troll me like my daughter trolls me. You are dead ass serious. You really believe the person in the white coat? yo, you don't want to know my thoughts about you. You don't. And I'm not talking about what I think about you. I'm talking about what I want to happen to you. Like, I don't want you on this earth. I don't. I'm like, oh, you are dangerous. You could be dangerous to me later on. You really believe the people in the white coat. Now, it's different if you are a scholar yourself and you are an analyst yourself, and you don't even have to be a great analyst. Just show me some initiative and be like, yo, Jamel, check this out. I did a little study of myself, and this is what I came to the table with. There are people over here on this channel that do that. Yo, this is what I came with. And my studies kind of show this. But you just plainly believing like, nah, that's not what they saying. You are an imbecile. You didn't even study for yourself.
Thank you so much.
What's interesting is that people in the crowd, the rest of the MPs didn't get.
Oh, we doing Charlie Kirk? Oh, I didn't even know. Where's my notes? Where's my joke pad? I didn't know we was doing Charlie Kirk jokes tonight. What does that say? Cranty? It says two things that will never get old. Charlie Kirk jokes and Charlie Kirk. He was a dildo with a bad fucking hairdo. He was a dildo. On what fucking planet did you believe that Erica Kirk loved you, bro? Are you shitting me? You're a dildo. It's too early. It's too early in the show. It's too early. I'm not. Nope. We'll get there.
Aspen shock. When they saw that, they instead sat there and they looked at it, and then they seemed to cheer. So people are feeling like, yes, Israel is acting like Nazis. Here's Turkey. Erdogan compares Bibi to Hitler.
Israel's stalling and deception should not be given any more credit.
Who is this guy? His English is pretty good, but his suit is baggy. I don't trust politicians with baggy fucking suits. And he does not have a mustache or any hair on the face. I say this like I got a full-blown beard, right? But I don't know. There's something different about that face. I've seen it before.
In the absence of the implementation,
He has to grow a stash.
in the absence of the implementation,
He has to grow a stash, and I can tell by his face that if he just lets it grows in naturally like Hitler. I can see that. And that's probably why he cut it off. My daughter reminded me today that I be talking shit. She was like, yeah, and you said that Hitler might not have been wrong. I said I did say that. But I said, look at it like this. Was he wrong? Huh? No, let's give him a second stare. Stop. I said he was wrong for the way he did it. It didn't take fucking gas check. That's torture, bro. Like, let's find another fucking way. How about, get out my country? It's worked 100 times before. You guys gotta leave. You gotta go. Where shall we go? I don't give a fuck where you go. But you gotta get out of here. You gotta go. Good sir, we have been kicked out of so many, and you'll be kicked out of this one too. Unless, light them up. Unless. Okay, we will go, good sir. We will go. Please. Take your fucking gypsy spells and beat it. I think he could have just... The torture, the cruelty, just kick him out. I think that's the part I don't understand. That's where me and Hitler differ. But everything else, I think you were kind of spot on, my G. You were fucking spot on. They're connected to something that is foul. The Ashkenazi Jews, not the real Jews. I have no idea where the real Jews are. There's many talk running around. My guy, Minister Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan said that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told him that the real Jews are the Black Americans of America. I don't believe that. For one bit. I know who these people are. These Black Americans. And I will tell them who they are in June. So they got 2 more months of running around calling themselves Moors and all other type of tomfoolery. We'll get there. And we'll get to who the fuck these Ashkenazis are, too. We got to get there.
Of UN Security Council Resolution number 2735, coercive measures against Israel should be put on the agenda.
I did a 12-piece series. I don't know if I can listen to this fucking guy with no stash. He bothers me. They used to call it the gay face, but that is not the gay face. When you just have a stash stubble, no respectable homosexual would rock a stash stubble. These are the facts. You can ask the gays. They will agree with me on this. Oh, he's telling the truth. No respectable homosexual would ever rock a fucking 5 o'clock stash. It's crazy talk. It's fucking crazy talk. And that should be a crime. Fuck are you doing? You addressing the whole world, bro. You up here with a baggy suit and hold on, Lord. Before we get off your case, let him see one more time while I'm wilding out. A baggy suit and a 5 o'clock mustache. You're bullshitting, bro. And I can't take you serious. Bullshitting and I can't take you serious. Hold on. Let Kim finish.
Putting Turkey in its crosshairs. Turkey is the new Iran, according to Israel. Many inside of the Israeli government have been putting their sights on Turkey. Netanyahu has been tweeting a couple of times about Erdogan. This is one of them saying, Israel under my leadership will continue to fight Iran's terror regime and its proxies, unlike Erdogan.
You know what's weird? Nobody's going to say it, so I got to say it. You know what's weird? Benjamin Netanyahu and the state of Israel is the face of the Jews. That's why people keep saying the Jews, which is fucked up because I don't think all of the Jews feel this way. But people are clip farming and they purposely find the ones that are in agreement with the genocide of the Palestinians, and it makes it look like on social media when they edit everything up, like all of anybody that's Jewish is for this type of behavior. And I just have to highly disagree. It can't be. It cannot be. And I've heard out of the mouth of many Hasidics that he's making it dangerous for other Jews. But never mind that. People don't like when I talk about religion, but the two other main religions spawn out of Judaism. Unfortunately. So if you don't at some point address your cognitive dissonance, you're just going to be in a world of trouble because there's so much attached to the reality of Judaism and esoteric knowledge. We're going to get into a little bit of it tonight. I just want to listen to Kim. I have not heard this part of the video. I'm just playing. I like Kim.
Who accommodates them and massacres his own Kurdish citizens. He also tweeted out against Erdogan saying that he's supporting terrorists. So very clearly, Turkey is going to be 2 weeks away from having a nuclear weapon for the next couple of decades here very shortly.
I hope so. Obviously, other countries need nukes. I want everybody to have nukes at this point. Give everybody fucking nukes at this point. Give everybody nukes. I mean, we can corral this shit. Because Benjamin, we just watched Joe Biden go out bad. Like, he was trying to shake hands with a fucking flag the last time I seen Joe Biden. Go out bad. And it's because he lost his mind. Allegedly. He lost his mind. Dementia. This shit is happening to many of our parents right now. Not mine. God forbid. My God, not yours. My God. We'll get to your God in a second. We'll get to your God in a second. Easy. What if, in fact, this guy is fucking early signs of dementia? Huh? And he's out here barking orders.
And, Turkey is a NATO ally. Israel is not. And yet Israel is, this is the bloodthirst doesn't stop. It just never stops. It will continue to spread. And guess what? You and I are not Jews, and they will come after us next because they will.
No, we are the Goyim, baby. We are the Goyim. And here's the thing. Unfortunately, whether you are down with, whether you believe wholeheartedly with Netanyahu, if the majority, the ruling class became who we are calling the Jews, which is really Israel right now. But if they had a bigger presence, like when it came to controlling, they do now, but it's obscure, right? It's not blatant and transparent yet. But the moment it is obvious and very transparent who's in charge, you don't think that everyone that is Jews will be like, yeah, they'll just switch sides on you, like, yeah. They're gonna go with their team. I know this. I'm not naive. I don't think like, no, there's gonna be a handful. There's gonna be more than enough Jews that stand up and do the right thing. No, they fucking won't. They're going to ride with the winning team and forget all about the videos where they were like, yo, I don't like what Israel's doing. They don't represent us in a good light. They don't give a fuck about none of that when the time comes. And this is why we can't let the time ever come, because clearly you can't be trusted. Anybody that immediately gets out of a dangerous situation like a Holocaust, and then you go somewhere and the first thing you do in the first year that you are assigned to share some land with some people, you violate and do all type of crazy stuff and cause chaos and war after your hide was just saved. Yeah, you are different. You're a bug out. I don't think I start to understand why you got kicked out of over 105 countries. Let me look something up. Y'all can hit the like button. Y'all don't. I don't give a shit. I'm about to play some R&B. But not yet. Not yet. Hold on. I want to look something up. 19... One second, y'all. I'm looking for something. I think, is this it? All right. What are you doing? I don't want this. Give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to get into the LA Times to read an article to you, but they're trying to charge me. Obviously, I don't need a LA Times subscription. I got a New York Times subscription. Come on. It's doing this spinning wheel stupid shit. It says DNA ties Ashkenazi Jews to a group of just 330 people from the Middle Ages. All of the... Listen, bro. I'm not paying you for that. I'm not paying you for that. Hold on. And I have this this article somewhere, but it is in my slides, my Google slides. So it's funny because it's like they don't want me to open it up. Hold on. All right, we're making progress. Come on. All right. Almost there. We need a little bit more information from you. Okay, continue. I don't know how much information they need from me. I hit the continue button. Oh, come on. Now they're back. I want to show this because I keep on telling people that the Jews have no... Here we go. All right. I don't know if they're gonna dead me on this, but let's see. Oh, they already deaded me. All right, Karen Kaplan. Karen, let's try another way. Kaplan article on Jews ancestry. Maybe she has a Substack. DNA Times. Okay, we got something from Houston Chronicle. All right, I don't think they're trying to charge me. DNA ties Ashkenazi Jews to a group from the Middle Ages. Let's just go with this. All of the Ashkenazi Jews alive today can trace their roots to a group of about 330. Now keep them blocked. People who lived 600 to 800 years ago. So says a new study in the journal Nature Communications. An international team of scientists sequenced the complete genomes of 128 healthy Ashkenazi Jews and compared each of those sequences with the others, as well as with the DNA of 26 Flemish people from Belgium. Their analysis allowed them to trace the genetic roots of this population to a founding group in the Middle Ages. Do I have any Jews in the house that want to push back on this? I'm going to keep reading, but are there any Jews amongst us that want to step up right now and proclaim that this article is tomfoolery? If not, I will continue to read. It doesn't matter because I already did the study myself. I've studied this topic a lot, and I say things from time to time, and I show you guys no proof. So therefore, you think I'm just blurting shit out. Why would I do that? So I've told people before, yo, you have no connection to the. So the word Jew is short for Judean, right? From the people from Judea, from the tribe of Judah. So it's a term to represent those ancient people. And I've said, check it out, what's good with you? I tell you guys all the time, these people are not, but they come over here, they find my channel somehow, and then they want to fight the power. Fight the power. So I'm up here saying things, and they don't like how it sounds. They think, like, as if I'm just picking on them, and I'm saying things that's untrue. I said, that's not true, you're spreading lies. No, I'm spreading the truth. Let me finish reading. Excuse me. It says Ashkenazi, well, Ashkenaz in Hebrew refers to Germany, and Ashkenazi Jews are those who originated in Eastern Europe. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. I've seen this word. We got to get Grok on the line. I've seen Ashkenaz in the Bible. Let's get Grok on the line. I can tell you right now, ChatGPT cannot be trusted. ChatGPT is temperamental, and when it comes to science or the Jews, it gets so emotional. It want to fight. I don't want to fight with you tonight, ChatGPT. I don't want to fight. And your information is subpar at best. You're right like 89% of the time. Am I signed in? All right. We got Grok on the line. Let's ask it some questions. Is the word Ashkenaz in the Bible? I seem to remember him being the grandson of Noah for some reason. Was Gomer his father? I think Gomer was his father. Let's see what's going on. We'll get to the bottom of this shit right now. Yes, the word Ashkenaz appears in the Bible, specifically in the Hebrew Bible, Old Testament. It is mentioned in 3 places. The sons of Gomer. Boom! Huh? I still got some of my faculties. Who y'all think y'all playing with? This repeats the... So he's the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Rithpath, and Togarmah. And then Chronicles 1:6, this repeats the same genealogy. The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Rithpath, okay. Here it refers to a kingdom of people. Prepare the nations for battle against her Babylon. Okay. Now, it could mean Germany. I don't know. Let me ask Grok what he thinks. Does Ashkenaz? I doubt it, but I'll ask just in case. Mean Germany? In any sense? I doubt it. But Grok may come back and like, hell yeah. Look, it did say yeah. It says yes. Yes, in a specific historical linguistic sense, Ashkenaz came to mean Germany, or more precisely, the German-speaking lands of medieval Europe. Okay, so this does go back to the article that was in the LA Times, but that the LA Times want me to subscribe to, that I won't subscribe to. But we found a article in the Houston Chronicle that is almost very similar to that same article. Okay. So it says, yes, in specific historical and linguistic sense, Ashkenaz came to mean Germany. German-speaking lands of medieval Europe and Hebrew and Jewish tradition. Well, they are not fucking Hebrews. This I assure you, my good friend. In the Bible, Ashkenaz refers to descendants of Noah, sons of Gomer, grandson of Japheth. All right. By the medieval period, roughly starting around 10th to the 11th centuries, Jewish scholars and communities in Europe began using Ashkenaz as the Hebrew name for Germany. You know what else? Since we're talking about the medieval times, the Europeans also started to call the North African and the Arabs Moors. These are the facts. We'll get to them later. Tonight we will focus on something different. I got a lot to talk about tonight, so let me get to it. Jewish scholars and communities in Europe began using Ashkenaz as a Hebrew name for Germany, particularly the Rhineland area in what is now Western Germany, and sometimes extending to the parts of northern France. The Franks! This is evident in the writings of figures like Rashi, 11th century, who refers to the German language as the language of Ashkenaz. All right, let's keep going. Let's get back to this article. Well, apparently this is true. I said it might be true. I don't know if it's true. Ashkenaz in Hebrew refers to Germany. and Hebrew. I'm still not sold on this. You know how ancient fucking the Hebrew language is? And there was... Hold on. Let's argue with Grok. We have to argue with Grok. Hebrew was established as a language before Germany existed, right? Yes, Hebrew was established. All right, I didn't ask. This is a lot, bro. I didn't ask for all of that. I just needed a yes. That's all I needed. The Romans first used the term Germania, 1st century BCE, by Julius Caesar to describe the region east of the Rhine, inhabited by various Germanic tribes. I doubt they started using Ashkenaz back then. A unified modern nation state called Germany, the German Empire, did not exist until 1871 CE. So what the fuck are you talking about? Hebrew. Who the fuck was speaking Hebrew? Hold on. Let me get on his ass real quick. That sounds crazy. Pause. The Ashkenazi Jews were not even speaking Hebrew in 1871. They spoke Yiddish. I just want to argue. Yes, that's largely... Here we go with your fucking long-ass explanations. That's largely correct for the vast majority of Ashkenazi Jews. So why are you telling me stupid shit about Ashkenazi, meaning German and Hebrew, bro? Yiddish as the everyday language. By the 19th century, Yiddish was the primary vernacular, everyday spoken language for most Ashkenazi Jews. This is what I'm saying. Y'all all bad for the youth, man. Because kids will start reading. They'll start listening to AIs, right? Thinking it should be telling you the truth. But it's going to word it on some bullshit. I'ma die. People like me are going to die. And they just going to keep on believing whatever the AI tell them. And these people that want to whitewash history are going to program these AIs to do exactly that. I know, Uncle Andy. Hold on, bro. Hold on. My alarm is going off. Everybody hold on. But Uncle Andy, it's not a tangent because we gotta get to the bottom of. You understand? We gotta know these things. Otherwise, the generation below us they're not gonna know. Anyway, let's keep on going. And the Ashkenazi Jews are those who originated in Eastern Europe. Sephardic Jews, by contrast, are from the areas around the Mediterranean Sea, including Portugal, Spain, and the Middle East and North Africa. About 80% of the modern Jews have Ashkenazi ancestry, according to the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Remember when I told you guys they're not related, and it was the Israeli scientists? It was I've read up on this. I've studied this, but I don't go into my notes for one fucking derelict Israeli or Jew that comes on my channel and telling me I'm lying. I know. I say with confidence I'm not lying. You're not related to the ancient people of Judea. You're not. That's for starters. I didn't even get started on the religion yet. About 80% of modern Jews have Ashkenazi ancestry, according to the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Albert Einstein was an Ashkenazi Jew, as were Gertrude Stein, Carl Sagan, Steven Spielberg, Scarlett Johansson are also Ashkenazi Jews, along with 3 current members of the U.S. Supreme Court, Ruth Ginsburg, Stephen Breyer, and Elena Kagan. Despite their close ties with Europe, no more than half of their DNA comes from ancient Europeans. The researchers found only 40% to 50% of the DNA, and the 128 samples originated with the group of people who were also the ancestors of the Flemish people in the study. Those ancient peoples split off from the ancestors of today's Middle Easterners more than 20,000 years ago. The rest of the Ashkenazi genomes comes from the Middle East. The researchers reported this founding group fused with European founding group to create a population of 250 to 420 individuals. These people lived 25 to 32 generations ago, and their descendants grew at a rate of 16% to 15% per generation, the researchers calculated. Today, there are more than 10 million Ashkenazi Jews around the world, including 2.8 million in Israel, according to the Hebrew University of Jerusalem.
And I believe that the message that's in the New Testament is a very powerful, symbolic, metaphysical story that is not very well understood today. Let me go back to the original Hebrew religion. Because it forms the basis for Christianity, we need to look at where did any of these things come from. I'm famous for doing that.
Yes,
I couldn't care less who I offend. I want to know the truth. And all you got to do is go to any good library and just start reading. There are hundreds of great reference books out there that tell you where things have come from. First of all of the things which are going on in this world today, from 9/11, all of the wars in the Middle East, all of the incredible bloodshed that's being spilled all over the earth, can be traced back to, and you might want to remember what I'm saying here, because I'm sure you're not going to make the connection when I first tell you, but I'm going to try to explain it to you. The things which are happening today, the people who are in power in this country, the great generals from around the world who are planning wars and violence and bloodshed, all of this stuff can be traced back to the planet Saturn. Saturn.
You wasn't expecting that to come out of his mouth, now was you? You wasn't expecting that to come out of his mouth. You didn't know where he was going with it. But the last thing you expected was for him to say Saturn. Now, he does make a mistake in this video. He's about to make it soon, too. where he talks about the crescent moon being a representative of Saturn, which in fact, that crescent moon, and I'm going to prove it to you right now before and he's taught on this, so I don't know why he made the mistake he made. So, before I'm gonna let him do his thing, but when I was listening to him, I said, "Oh, you messed up there, OG. You didn't say." Now I'm gonna go to Encyclopedia Britannica, and I look up sin. And in this picture, you can't see it. In this picture, there's a guy in this sculpture. Anyway, they call this a stele. Victoria stele of Namran Sin, King of Akkad, sandstone relief sculpture, 2250 BCE. So 2250 BCE. And it says here, Sin, the god of the moon. Sin was the father of the sun god Shamash. Now I'm gonna spare you the education on this, but what I want you to know is that the god Sin in this picture, even though you can't see it, has a helmet of horns on, and the helmet of horns was to represent the crescent moon, because the moon, when it is in a crescent phase, it looks like the bull's horn. And that's all I will say about that on this right now, because I'm gonna just let him cook, do what he do. I don't want to be out here correcting masses, but he did mess up.
Is a very, very pivotal, important concept in theology and religion, and most people have never been told any of this and have no knowledge of it at all. But the planet Saturn is very important in world affairs, in theology. In the Islamic belief, the holy city of Mecca, which is in Saudi Arabia, Mecca has a Masonic circle, and within the Masonic circle is a square, because you got to do everything on the square, remember. You have a town square, you have New York Square, you have Vatican Square, you have Red Square, you have all kinds of squares. Why? Because this is Masonic, and it goes all the way back into the ancient world, the terms and symbols. Again, the planet Saturn is called the Black Square. It's called the Dark Sun, the Black Sun. This is what the Nazis and the SS and the Gestapo wore black. That's why priests wear black. That's why judges wear black robes. Why do you think a judge wears a black robe? He wears a black robe because when you used to graduate from university, you wear a black robe. Why black robes? Darth Vader wears a black robe. What the hell does a black robe have to do with anything? The judges wear black robes. You know, Supreme Court judges wear black robes. Black robes represent the...
Yeah, I was about to say that this is not really his favorite subject. He's more of a, you understand? He's hardcore with it. He's old school. He just get straight to the Jews with him. You understand? None of this beating around the bush. I don't know what the Jews did to him. I don't know. I don't know what they did to him. He's upset. Bankers, yeah. 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 Yeah.
Priesthood of the planet Saturn, the Saturnalian Brotherhood. All you need to do is study Nazism, and you will begin to see that the powers behind the Nazi Party, the Thule Society, the Germanian Order, were all members of something called the Saturnalian Brotherhood, the Brotherhood of Saturn. Saturn was the god of darkness, chaos, and destruction. He teaches you a lesson. He will take your life if you don't listen to him. So consequently, Saturn was very, very important in the ancient world. Thank you. Saturn's name, incidentally, in the old Phoenician ancient Canaanite religion in the Middle East, the old Phoenician Canaanite worship of the planet Saturn was the most important god of all the ancient world, was the planet Saturn, and his symbol, long before the Hebrews were ever in Canaan, the symbol in Canaan for the planet Saturn was a six-pointed star. Today we call that star the Star of David.
This is what I'm saying. We don't have any they keep changing the history. That's number one. I would say I was fortunate enough to see it, but I wouldn't call that fortune, right? I've seen America try that during my lifetime. So it's not like something I heard about at a barbershop, like, yo, they keep whitewashing history. No. I was a substitute at a school and seen that they had books that said that the slaves, the black American slaves, were volunteers. They didn't call them slaves in this book. And I said, what type of rubbish is this? Volunteers? Who signed off on this book? And it made such a big stink that they quickly retracted, like, no, they're on to us. But they came back, right? Since we was on to them, they said, okay, how about we just don't teach it at all? Let's just not teach it because it makes some people feel guilty. Does anybody else feel uncomfortable? Nope. Not at all. Here's the thing. Many of our kids, they feel kind of uncomfortable. They feel guilty. So you don't teach history? What are you saying right now? That's crazy.
There was no Star of David. It's the Star of Saturn. All of the Jewish reference books, all the Encyclopedia Judaica, you go to the synagogue, go up into Mulholland Drive, up to the
By the way, synagogue is for the temple of Sin, who I just told you was a moon god that these so-called Hebrew Israelites once served. And this is why they followed the lunar calendar. You got to know what you believe in. And for me, if something starts a certain way, I don't know if you could fix that later on, right? And just be like, nah, we don't believe in that. I've said that to a number of Jehovah's Witnesses, and they were like, nah, that was at the beginning. What the fuck are you talking about? The beginning is how it starts, baby. Nah, but we don't believe in that no more. What? No, you cannot build a strong house on quicksand. Let me let Jordan finish cooking, because I do want to get to the water. The reason I'm bringing this up and I'm letting Jordan teach tonight is because I need you to see not only that they're lying to you about history, about who you are, about who they told you are, and who created you. In your head, they got, because the story is down packed in your head, so you really think. You know what's crazy? You think one God created you, right? Even though, and I'm not saying one God didn't create you or did, but what I am saying is this, especially for you Christians, and I've read this in Islam where it says we, and you have to answer like, who is we? But let's just deal with Christianity for right now. You believe that one God created you. And the book doesn't even say that. The book itself, like, how mentally ill do you have to be to read something in the book and still go along with what the majority of people are saying, even though the book that you're reading out of does not say that? That's the equivalent of seeing yellow in the book, but because everyone else in the room said, no, that's definitely blue, you're like, I can see how it can be blue. Yeah, it's definitely blue. You're right.
Jewish University and spend 3 weeks there and look up Saturn. You'll find out that 98% of all Judaism is a worship of the planet Saturn. Better wake up and understand where this stuff comes from. Because if there is a God in heaven, if there is a divine presence in the universe that demands righteousness and justice, then you're going to have to rethink what we believe and where we're...
Stop right there. What are you talking about? Demand. If there's a God in heaven that demands righteousness and justice from who? Because they've been down here kicking up dust. They've been down here kicking up dust. So exactly this God that y'all serve, who is this God expecting righteousness and justice for or from? Now remember, they tell me that Yahweh is the God of the Jews, and Christianity and Islam come out of Judaism, and we will get into Yahweh in a second. But you could go ahead and hit the like button.
Going and what the world is all about, because for the last 2,000 years we haven't done too well. Logic alone should tell you that when Jews were being marched into concentration camps, they were praying obviously to their God for protection and for help. There was no help coming.
No, because first of all, my G, never reach out to Yahweh. Yahweh is a bullshit God he's never in the loop. He don't know what's going down. He has not been a part of any divine council or pantheon. You can't find it. And the reason you can't find it is for reasons he will explain to you in a second. But I have studied the Canaanite pantheon. I have studied, obviously, the Egyptian pantheon. All the pantheons. And I studied looking for Yahweh. And his bitch ass nowhere to be found. Let me let Jordan Maxwell keep cooking.
Christians have been praying to God to help this nation, to protect their family, and evil grows and multiplies each day. And the more Christians...
Each fucking day. And when we can't explain it, you know what our sorry asses say? Oh, it's God's will. But I rebuke that. Stupid just talk you talking. For universal law says for every action there is a reaction. Well, it's God's will. Is that fucking God's will to enslave another people and then rape their wives and their daughters? Yet this has happened plenty of times, and not just the black people. It's just a fucking thing they do down here on earth. It's just a thing they do down here on earth. And obviously these people were screaming out for their God. Please, God, help me, save me. Nope. And I would say you're going to learn, but you are not going to learn. I would say, but you're going to learn though, and really believe. No, you are not going to learn shit. Until you finally realize, oh, that's how it is down here on Earth. Ah, now you getting it. Now you getting it. Now you starting to get it a little bit. Now you starting to get. That's how it is down here on Earth. It's a dangerous fucking planet, baby. And if somebody can get over on you and sell you some bullshit to control you and yours, to make you a simpleton and a docile individual, then they're going to do it. And they're going to take control of, they're going to reap the benefits while you out here. I'm not ready to call your God a made up God yet. Yahweh is a made up bullshit God. Actually, many other gods are too. Let's get off of that. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Pray, the more evil the pervasiveness becomes. And the reason why is because we are not in tune with the universal God force. We're not in tune with the truth. We're in tune with what we've been told.
Talk that talk.
We understand that thing that we've been told about government, that we have to pay your taxes because that's the law. You think, what law? Where is there?
Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Why do you think that the made up character Jesus of Nazareth, even though there was no Nazareth at the time, but I digress. That's another fucking story. Jesus of Nazareth. There was no Nazareth at that time. There was Nazarenes, and the Nazarenes resembled the Essenes. They were two different communities, but they were similar in some ways. And yes, they were both in Judea. So it was easy to kind of, for someone to maybe translate Jesus of Nazareth when they really meant Jesus of the Nazarenes. Anyway, I digress. But they threw that in the story, didn't they? Trying to trick Jesus up. Hey, what do you say about Caesar? Whose face is on the money? It would be Caesar. Well, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Don't be trying to get me out here caught up in that bullshit. I'm about to go meet Mary at the well. I don't want nothing blocking me.
The law that says that. Well, it's in there somewhere. No. Where is the law? Then you find out, well, it was just a lie. The whole thing was a lie. The whole thing is a sham. Well, the same thing is true in our theological thinking. The reason why I'm bringing this subject up is because I feel it's important now in the year 2002, because I think that very soon we're going to experience some pretty dynamic spiritual things are going to begin to happen on the earth, because I do not believe that the divine presence in the universe that men have called God is going to allow this to go on much longer. But the way history has always...
I think there's a difference between a divine and what we call divine, right? While we view certain cultures as primitive and so certain even ancient cultures as having limited vocabulary, maybe we have a limited vocabulary. As many words as we have expanded our vocabulary to. exist to, maybe there's still some limitations on what we have words for and how we define those words. Even God, divine God. The ancients spoke of sky people. Now I do agree with him. I don't think that I do believe in the divine. But then I also believe that there are those that are more sophisticated technically and just understand more about the universe than we, and they're not necessarily from this planet. Now, what do I call those people? What if that entity was in front of me now, right? He's way stronger than me physically. Mentally, I'm not even close to being on this entity's level. Capabilities wise, this person can defy gravity. They can fly. They can walk on water. They can read my mind. At that point, do I start to call this entity a god because they could do way more than me and I'm limited down here? Do I start shaking in my boots and, yeah, you're a god. Oh my gosh, you're the one. What if that person's like, you think I'm a? Oh, we got him. We got him. We found us a planet. We found one. Yeah. I am a god. Damn it. So, again, I think you would have to go back to your own cognitive dissonance, because even in your own book, it starts describing UFOs and Ezekiel talking about the wheel in the middle of the wheel with the eyes around the wheel and whirlwinds of fire. It's describing a UFO, beloved. And it's just not, I can say if it was just one culture, we talk about a multitude. So many cultures talk about flying entities of sky people. Let's keep going.
Always shown us is that when God moves, theologically speaking, when God moves, people die. And consequently, I think that we are coming to a point where we're going to be in serious trouble, and that's why I want to help my fellow man to become spiritually prepared for what's coming. And the only way you're going to do that is understand where things come from and begin to appreciate we've been misled again. I have tons of videos, of slides I'd like to show, but there's so many things I want to talk about too. Let me get back to the planet Saturn. Saturn was referred to...
Jesus. Wait. Says your local pastor says Jesus died for our foreskins? Please tell me that's a typo. Please tell me that's a typo, bro. You cannot be someone's local pastor spreading this type of rhetoric. Jesus died for our foreskins. It's wild. See, if you didn't know about the moon god, Sin was an actual moon god, right? You can look that up in the Encyclopedia Britannica. Then it makes sense that Jesus, who is the Son of man, died for It is all esoteric. We'll get to it. When the sun goes down, what comes up? The moon. When the moon comes out, what goes away? The sun. So, in essence, we're talking about astro-theology. That's what we're talking about. But I don't know how the writers did it, but they did it in such a genius way where if you know, you do know, and you can see it if someone explains it to you. But if they don't, you will read this story and you will never, ever, ever see that it is a esoteric astro-theological story. You won't see it.
As I said, its symbol was the six-pointed star. Today we call it the Star of David. Saturn was referred to as El. E-L. El was the god Saturn.
Jesus, the Son of God, yes, the Son, S-U-N, of God, and of man, he died so people like me and you, just you, sir, just you, Random Randall, have a chance for sanctification and salvation. No. The sun dies, and we worship the sun because if that sun did not rise, oh, it would be so cold, and nothing would grow. And everything is more beautiful when the sun is out. So we need the sun. Yeah.
And the old Phoenician Canaanite system. And consequently, anyone that promoted the worship of El is where we get the word elder. You become an elder.
Hold on. He's about to start cooking, and I don't want him to cook yet. Let's bring that back. Y'all have no idea what you're into. You have no idea. The efforts and the lengths that these people have gone through, to and through. And it's okay if people come over here and they're upset because they... First of all, you should not be over here. No one who... You should not be over here. If you have religion like that, especially if you're a Christian, don't be curious. Don't be over here thinking you're going to defend. Out of respect, we won't rip your religion from you cold-heartedly. But because you notice that we're not attacking you guys back. But here's the thing. You're going to fucking wake up over here, bro. And I don't want that for you. Because who said you wanted to be awoke, right? So don't be over here being all curious, trying to say, oh, what this guy's talking about? He sounds ignorant. It'd be the worst thing. It would wreck your whole fucking life, bro. Just turn to another channel and go watch some silly memes or some cat videos or some other shit. Find something to get into, because this ain't what you want. This is not what you want. You wake up struggling with your faith. Because you'll realize, oh, this shit is lies. And I don't want that for you, my boy. I don't. Go find something to do. Please. Go find something to do. This ain't it.
This to go on much longer. But the way history has always shown us is that when God moves, theologically speaking, when God moves, people die. And consequently, I think that we are coming to a point where we're going to be in serious trouble, and that's why I want to help my fellow man to become spiritually prepared for what's coming.
Now, if you want to be anything, get your spirit right. Get your spirit right. Now, later on, we will talk about your anatomy. You have to come to terms that they call us human beings like that's a simple thing. First of all, they lied, or they are lying about who made you. How do I know that? Because they're lying about their God. Don't worry. I don't have to take Jordan Maxwell or anybody else's word for it, because I got my own fucking mind. So I could study history just like they study history, and in fact I have. It's just I came to the same conclusion that Jordan. I found out all his videos after I did the work already. I said, oh, this is crazy. And then I found other people who thought like me. Why did they think like me? Not because we felt it in our spirit, because we spent years researching this shit, and it's like, nah, bro. This don't even make sense what y'all put together. So if they're not going to tell you your true God, then they're not going to tell you who you are as an entity. They're not going to tell you. I seen Professor Dave argue with a creationist one time, and in my opinion, Professor Dave was kind of losing, but he went on to declare himself the victor in another video. he declared himself the victor. And Professor Dave is smart. But one of his arguments were that the body is so complex. Do you think... And I guess it was like, you don't think... Okay, his argument must have been only science can create something that complex. And I have to disagree, because as primitive as I think we are, and immature as we are as humans in 2026, in my opinion, we still have figured out we've figured out some complicated things. I don't think we've figured these things out without the help of extraterrestrials. We needed their help to figure it out. But still, the math theories that we've formulated and theorized on is impressive. I call us immature because of we can't handle emotion and we want to go to war and kill each other all the time. That's why we're immature. But I'm going to give us some type of accolades when it comes to just logic and reason and compounding on that, and not just relying on what the last generation set up for us, but taking that and then adding to it. We are at the point where we're cloning other humans now. We went from genetic sequencing to editing the DNA. Even CRISPR-9 has morphed into, it went from like editing, which was more on the rugged side, to now, check this out. Now, the bases, which is your ATs and your CGs, they can just, it's like, they describe it as like an eraser, erasing one of the letters and then replacing the letter. That is impressive.
And the only way you're going to do that is understand where things come from and begin to appreciate we've been misled again. I have tons of videos, of slides I'd like to show, but there's so many things I want to talk about too. Let me get back to the planet Saturn. Saturn was referred to, as I said, its symbol was the six-pointed star. Today we call it the Star of David. Saturn was referred to as El. E-L. El was the god.
Saturn was referred to as El. And we know El from the Canaanite pantheon. And his second in command was Baal. B-A-A-L.
Saturn in the old Phoenician Canaanite system. And consequently, anyone that promoted the worship of El.
I found it strange that in the same century that Akhenaten was kicked out of Egypt or exiled out, or they said some say he died, or I think he was exiled out for trying to create monotheistic religion. And the priests weren't having it because where are the benefits of being a priest if we only have one God? Why would you need so many priests if we only had one God? It was way better off when we had 42. You understand? Now there's more than enough corruption to spread around. But if you boil this down to one God, oh, they got him up out of there. The same year the same century that happened is the same century that scholars say the Hebraic people, Judaism, was created. Story of Judaism. I looked at that Canaanite pantheon. So for us to use some of their terminologies like El and then the hatred for Baal, I looked at that. Say, where does this hatred come from? When in fact, I think, okay, whoever's trying to place Yahweh in this pantheon, because he's not in the pantheon, but they have to place him somewhere. So who we gonna knock out? Oh, we're gonna knock out Baal, and they hate Baal in this Bible. Hate him. He's a false god. This, that, and Yahweh's a false fucking god, a bullshit god. He doesn't know shit. He never knows. He's scared all the time. Huh? Genesis 11. For some strange reason, the people down on earth are building a tower to where? To the sky. Obviously, they've seen something that they've come to the conclusion, if we can get back there, we can get off this wretched planet and back to where we belong. Well, anyway, the book says that bullshit ass Yahweh came down, was in total shock. So there's your omniscient and omnipresent right there. So much for that. Total shock. He's in total shock. Oh shit, what's going on? Y'all building? He's frantic. He starts to panic. He goes back to the other gods, but this is Christianity. So for some strange reason, you guys can't put the shit together that it says he went, let us go back down there and confound their language. But anytime anybody asks you who is he talking to, you come up with some bullshit excuse about the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. He's talking to himself. Okay, you dealing with a schizophrenic God. All right. Keep it up with your bullshit. And you're going to end up somewhere you don't want to be because you didn't want to take heed to the wisdom that was coming across your screen when I was giving it to you. Moby, what's up? What's up, babes?
Hey. You okay?
Yeah, I'm on a live. How you doing? Love you.
Is where we get the word elder. You become an elder because you were worshiping El. And when you worship El and become an elder, then how did you get to be an elder? You got elected. So therefore we have elections. Now that you have been elected to be an elder, now you are one of the elites. Why? Because now you have moved up like in an elevator. You are now moved up in society. Consequently, it's all money. It's all manipulation and exploitation coming out of Phoenicia, Canaan. It goes back to the old Sumerian, Babylonian systems of words and terms and symbols and emblems that have been used to manipulate the whole human race. Because our masters don't give a damn about you or your family or your destiny with God. All they care about is what they have always cared about, and that's controlling the whole damn world. And consequently, if anything's going to happen in this country to turn it around, we're going to need a renaissance, an intellectual, spiritual renaissance. Because you can't...
Stop right there. Stop right there. What he's saying is actually facts, right? And every time he says it, it reminds me of why I go off on these tangents. And I'm going off on these tangents of knowing who you are and the anatomy, because this scientific evidence that water holds memory. Water holds information, rather. Not so much memory. Water holds information. Now, if your body is made up of 70% water, think about the information that is always actively being thrown at you. The most negative information in the world. Right? If it's not sex, it's gambling. If it's not gambling, it's drugs. They trained the black American to admire everything that is negative. Woe to him that would call right wrong and wrong right. Everything in these urban black American communities, if it's wrong, that shit is right. It makes no sense, but it was one of the biggest and the most successful psyops, I would say, that they were able to pull off. Now, obviously, you have pockets of rational and logical and civilized black Americans like myself amongst the few, the many in these communities. But for the most part, these people are not listening to us. I seen a video, and I think I didn't watch the video because it was of brother, what do you call it? Rizza Islam. And it could have been clickbait, and it said marriage is slavery. I didn't read it. I didn't watch it. I don't know brother Rizza Islam to be married. But my thing is this. Marriage, the institution of marriage has been around for a long time, brother. Long time. And I would think that these ancients had some type of knowledge of this. Now, obviously polygamy has been around as well. But It has not been instituted in within cultures as much as marriage has. So I don't know about it being slavery. What I think is that many of us, we would obviously prefer to get out here and just have sex with whoever we want to with at any time. But I also think this would be a bad practice because it would lead to disease, it would lead to dysfunction, and it has, in fact, led to that. So I believe that the ancients said, you know what, let's find a partner, because this thing is very scientific. It is so scientific. One needs to be a negative energy, one needs to be a positive energy. This is why homosexuality is not good, in my opinion. It's not about me getting up here and judging you and calling you a bati boy and calling you a carpet muncher. Am I going to do these things? I do these things because it's fucking funny. Not to hurt your feelings. Not because I'm really out here gunning for I don't care what you do, bro. Bro, if you want to take a strong 9 in your rectum, go at it. Fuck. Go the fuck at it. I don't care. Right? So when I speak on it, I don't think I'm speaking from a place of hatred. I'm going back to, if we are speaking on the divine, whether it's your version of the divine or mine. Hold on, because I got to yell at my daughter. No, you're not sorry. Hold on.
Yeah.
Said Jordan Maxwell is the son of a federal judge.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
Josephus was the commander of the Sicarii, the Jewish assassins, who became a scribe for the Romans. Because he's the son of a federal judge. What does that mean? He can't know the truth?
Can't do it with arms. Adolf Hitler rose to power the same way George Bush did. It's the simple Mickey Mouse routine that it works every time. I'm ashamed of this country, and I'm ashamed of the people who call themselves Americans, who drive around with a damn silly-ass flag on their car and not even realize that's not an American flag. All you got to do is do your homework. You find out that is a United States flag. And it's not even an original United States flag, because an original United States flag has these stripes going vertical, not horizontal. But who the hell knows that? Who cares? I mean, we just put a flag on your car and drive around like a fool.
Give me a second. Let's change gears real quick. Let's change gears. I want to try to get to this water stuff. How many more minutes I got? I got 15 minutes. Jesus Christ. We ran most of the people up out of here, but we got like a good
You should listen. It's a series of, I think, 10 or 12 episodes. And it has to do with kids who are autistic. And when they're extremely autistic, they can't speak. But they can think. And they think some of them are really gifted in their ability to think. But they can't speak, so the only communication that they have is telepathic. Now, most people say telepathic, impossible. This will convince you that it's not only possible, but true. So it turns out that after I listened to 3 or 4 episodes and was absolutely convinced, because, by the way, I think this is the #1 podcast that exists.
Okay.
It's so extremely popular. So I get a phone call, or an email, sorry. I get an email many weeks after, maybe 10 weeks afterward. And this woman lives near the airport where you landed. And she said, in episode number 10, there's a guy named Noah. He's now 25 years old. And he communicates telepathically. And he's also a gifted healer. So his energies can heal. And she said to me, she's his main communicator.
What are you doing?
She can talk, but she's also telepathic. So she can interpret what he's saying telepathically. And she said, he wants to meet you.
Crap from the side of my back?
Meet me? Why would he want to meet me? So I asked. She said, well, he's interested, and I'm interested too, in water. And he has his own ideas about easy water. And I thought, well, this is really interesting because it's not so often that you get to meet a kid who's not a kid anymore, but he's telepathic. So we assembled, Cara, the local woman, and I assembled here on the sofa, and we picked him up on Zoom. He lives in Chicago. And he started talking about his idea about easy water. And she's listening, interpreting what he has to say telepathically. And she's got an iPad, and she starts drawing on the iPad, listening to what he's saying, quote, unquote. So she draws a circle, she draws an oval, she draws a line. And, by the time 10 minutes goes by, she's got a very complicated drawing. She tries to explain it to me, and I couldn't understand it. And I don't know whether the lack of understanding was due to the fact that I'm not smart enough to know what this guy is thinking about all kinds of energies, or another possibility is that she's uneducated. She's gone through high school, and that's all. And she might be having difficulty interpreting what he's saying, and so the communication to me doesn't quite make sense. Anyway, that's how it all started. And since we're about to start now, I want to bring it to an end, but I'll tell you that we had him in the laboratory a couple of times, putting his energy or intention to water. And we found that if we measure the properties of the water before and after, it changes after he imparts his energy. So the water is somehow
Connected
storing,
to consciousness.
It's absolutely connected. But I mean, there's lots of evidence for that. But I just wanted to tell you that this particular incident, because it's interesting. There's a lot more to it, but
I'm fascinated by the direction this conversation is going. So I just want to keep on this thread because it's going right back into water, and actually it ties into a question that I was going to ask you later, but I think I'll just ask now. Okay. So this is fascinating, and it's interesting that you bring this up, like this whole consciousness discussion, and you really took me for a loop here when you tied it back to.
Hey, Roby. Basically, what they're saying is consciousness is tied to the water somehow, right, Roby? My thing is, they keep trying to dumb down out and play with our water, bro. They keep playing with the water. If it's not fluoride in the water, then it's all type of nanoparticles in the water. We went from plastic. I understand why we went from glass jars that contained our water to plastic, because it's just cheaper to ship plastic because it weighs less. Kenny Mac, what's good with you, man? Kenny Mac, it's about 2 hours. We about to get up out of here, but we was talking about how everyone is turning their back on the and by everyone I mean the rest of the countries are starting to turn their back on Israel. Then we jump to the Jews. Then we jump to a little bit of Judaism. Spoke about the Star of David, which some people call the Solomon's Seal, which Jordan Maxwell said is really Saturn. Is an ancient symbol for Saturn. Now we're talking about how water is connected to consciousness. But again, we only got like 7 more minutes in the show, though.
Tied it back to water. That's fascinating. So, yes, I've also been. I think a lot of the world has been exploring consciousness in the last.
I think so. Yeah, there's more and more interest in consciousness, and more it's tied to water. Water's all over the place, and water.
Yeah, bro, you would have enjoyed that with some of the devil's lettuce, the good stuff, not that stuff they got now. It's crazy. Winter, 3 days equals control. Oh. Winter with the esoteric knowledge and all that. Okay.
Water is discovered on planets, even on stars, and it's got to be because of the ubiquity of water. It can't be as the textbooks describe, merely a background carrier of the more important molecules of life. It's got to be significant. It's got to be important, and we have a lot of evidence that indeed it is important. So this is a kind of recent turn for us. It's not a 180-degree turn, not a complete turn, but we've gotten interested in consciousness and how it applies to water. It's fascinating, and I organize a conference each year, pretty much each year. It's now in its 17th year, I think, and we call it the Water Conference. The official name is the Annual Conference on the Physics, Chemistry, and Biology of Water. And inevitably, I invite people who have something to say about water memory or information in water. And this is not a how should I say, a mainstream topic. Mm-hmm. However, there's so much information, so much evidence on this that it's really hard to reject this as a possibility. So
could I ask, because you're about to head into something, I want to ask the question. In your book, The Fourth Phase of Water, you write You write that water can absorb and contain energy, and
Yes.
that some of this energy may, in fact, contain information. Therefore, water in my interpretation of what you're saying is that water is some sort of data drive. So it's some sort of memory, like it has some sort of memory.
Let's just stop right there. Let's just stop right there. Right? Now that the sheep are gone, we got 9, 10 people in here. Right? We went up to 87 tonight, maybe even 100. I don't even know. These people just want us to repeat fucking narratives over and over again. And these are the same people crying. Right? Because they don't like what's happening. They expect something except chaos on this planet because they don't want to believe that entities that have been around for thousands of years are running plays from the shadows. They don't want to believe that an entity such as a reptilian could exist on this planet and be running plays. They want to believe that their God is just waiting for the right moment to return. And if he did, your God did return, what excuse do you give to the people? I mean, somebody's want to know why did you let my daughter and my wife get raped in front of me? Like, why did you do that? And they don't want to hear it was to teach you a lesson, Edward. What was the fucking lesson, bro? Oh, you're not going to understand. You're not going to understand. I don't even want to explain it to you. And anyway, you're banished to hell. I don't like your insubordination. Your tone is crazy. You're going to hell. What did I do? I'm not explaining myself to you. I'm God. Five Pillars, what's up, man? If God returned, what do you want? What do you want? I know what you want. You want to go to heaven. You want a one-way ticket to heaven where the streets are paved with gold. You're only thinking about yourself. So that's all it takes for you to forget about all this shit that done happened on this planet. It's all forgiven because he returned. That's crazy talk. None of it makes sense. Now I'm in return after all of this fucking chaos. Oh, I heard your prayers. Well, why didn't you answer? No one knows. And when they don't know, they say, oh, don't question God. It's best not to question God. Fine. So we don't question God. Can we question the other shit? There's so much other shit I can question before I even get to your God. And like this effing guy said, we could start with the goddamn bankers hiding behind walls of protection and secrecy. When it comes to America alone, you have the Treasury connected to the Federal Reserve, which is broken up to 12 governors and a chairman? Then that's broken, connected to an IMF, an International Monetary Fund. Like, this shit gets so complicated. And it's confusing and complicated on purpose. And you think about all the things they do teach in school, but they don't teach that to a degree of understanding. And the reason I know this is because more people would be able to explain it because they would understand. But in fact, you have to work hard to understand that relationship and how it actually operates. You have to work to understand it. It doesn't come just from some teacher taught, especially at a public school. Shit, you'd be lucky if they fucking know exactly what's going on. Now, he's about to talk about the energy. Obviously, and in other videos, he's spoken about Professor Emoto, the Japanese. I always say his name wrong. You know what? We'll just look him up because I want to give him his accolades tonight. And I'm not going to show his video because we've shown this before. And I know you guys are like, just show it again. But Dr. Emoto, Masaru Emoto. Now, he passed away, and the old man that you see talking, he was actually a student. I wouldn't say a prodigy. That's going too far. All right. I guess we got time.
This next series of photographs are the work of Japanese researcher Mr. Masaru Emoto from his book, The Message from Water. Mr. Emoto's work provides factual evidence that human vibrational energy, thoughts, words, ideas, and music affect the molecular structure of water. Please remember that water comprises over 70% of a mature human body and covers the same amount on our planet. Water is the very source of all life. This photo shows the beautifully formed geometric design of the Yushi Spring water. This next photo is from the Shimanto River, the last clean spring in Japan. Notice the extraordinary geometric forms. The fact that the molecular structure of water can be affected by our consciousness, our intent, and our sounds is extremely important.
Now, I mean, obviously all of this is fascinating, but I don't want you to miss the big part. And the big point is they don't want this type of information out there. Not one, not two, but a community of scientists, of actual professors, scientists, certified doctors and scientists have signed off on the validity of the relationship between consciousness and water. Water being more than it's represented to be. I think the fact that they want to poison our water all the time, it could be something to that. However, if your body is made up of 70% water, and they're always trying to get you, look at the black people, right? They infiltrated hip-hop. Hip-hop was not negative like that. They came in with their agenda and wanted to push and market gangster rap. Now, were people still going to rap some of these songs? Yeah, they were, because that's what was happening in these neighborhoods, and they were going to rap. They were going to talk about the things that they seen. But I highly doubt it was about to be all negative like it turned out to be. Right? It was going to be balanced. Some people were going to say, yo, I like to talk about the negative shit I see. And then some people, like Will Smith, was going to be joking and comedic. But then it turns out all of those people that had loving messages, oh, you got to get out of here. Right? I'm from a town called Mount Vernon, New York. One of the biggest names in hip-hop. literally one of the biggest names. It's a guy named Heavy D. Big guy. He loved, Heavy D is Jamaican, by the way. He was Jamaican. He loved positivity. He was an amazing not just representation, example. I want to say example. It was a good example of a, I would say, just a decent human being, and he could have did way more. He had a song called "Don't Curse," right? So he could have complied way more as a artist. He could have complied way more to the negative things. And he just found a way. He just found a way to keep on living but not conforming. So you didn't see Heavy D talk a whole lot about drinking and drugging, and he spoke about love a lot. He didn't even want to use curse words in his songs and his music. All of these people, you had to go. You got to get out of here. If you're not going to get down with the program, you got to go. Now, today, we may, you may want to disagree with me, but in fact, it's hard to disagree with me, because what they did was start to repeat these. They got these people to recite these words, and words manifest, right? So in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. Well, first you would have to know who God is. You'll figure that part out. But it says the Word was God, which tells me these words are very powerful, very powerful. And by the way, if you are unfamiliar, what I just gave you was in the Bible. That was a verse. I think it's in John 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and nothing that was made without Him. So it's telling me that Word manifest and create. Nothing that was made was not made without Him. So if you're telling me everything that was made by the Word, and the Word was God, yes, that's what I'm telling you. Then how can a community get up here and say negative things after negative things after negative things without expecting to create a negative realm for themselves? And in fact, they have. So when I said earlier that the black community, the urban black communities, they glorify everything negative. Why? Because they are the ones that's looking to accept handouts from the devil himself. That devil himself will get up here and say, hey, you know how to dance? You know how to juggle? Can you shake your ass cheeks? Can you make them clap? I didn't even know that's a thing. Oh, yes, it's a thing. We've seen it done. Do you know how to do it is the big question. Are you willing to try on camera? I can try. That's all we ask. That is all we ask. That's all we can ask, right, fellas? That's all we can ask. These actions have consequences. We have to understand that we are a duality. We are tangible, and there is something, there are energies you cannot see. So the next part, in case you are not convinced, what I'm about to say next, when I say that we are a tangible and intangible reality, that intangible part, many people call that the spirit. In fact, these two things combined keep us in existence. Now, there are many frequencies that we cannot see. You cannot see wireless, but we benefit from the reality that wireless exists. You cannot see gamma rays with the naked eye. You cannot see a bunch of things. You cannot see heat a lot of times with the naked eye, but your ass could feel it. Uncle Andy says, AI has partially decoded whale language? Really?
This photo is from the Mount Cook Glacier in New Zealand. Mr. Emoto has been visually documenting.
So, think about that. That would be how the geometry looks within your body when you're vibrating on a high conscious level, right? When you're sitting there thinking about the fruits of the spirit, love, joy, peace. Now, you go into the wrong neighborhood now, they're going to say you're a sucker. Or they're going to have a ton of words for you that you're not going to like. But they're not going to understand why you want to be so loving and why you want to be around that. You got to, we gangsters around here. And they have normalized that frequency so that frequency feels comfortable to them. They don't feel comfortable around and you trying to figure out why wouldn't you feel comfortable around my presence? I come with nothing but love. That's the point. They don't know love. The shaitan has stripped them from that and normalized their chaotic evil behavior. So if the water cells or molecules in their body was to start feeling like this, they would freak out. They started to form like this. In fact, they are very much used to it looking something like this.
Water from the Yodo River in Japan. In this photo, we can compare the contaminated water with clean stream water. Look at the difference. Mr. Emoto decided to see what effects music would have upon the structure of water. He placed
duality, Uncle Andy. Duality. Listen, Uncle Andy, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get out of here. Because I could be here all night. You understand? I don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out of here for tonight. But we are not done with this conversation by far. And they let us get away with it tonight. Will they let us get away with it tomorrow night? I don't know. But we're going to try. So let's call this part 1. And when I come back tomorrow night, we'll continue the conversation of water holding memory, connected to our consciousness, how that applies to our anatomy. And then we might even go into some of the ancient stories of who created us. Winter says, I think spirit conscious, and aura are the same. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Aura, I believe, has to do with the electromagnetic energy that your body naturally creates. Remember, anytime your cells communicate, they create something called a synapses. So either it's going to be electrical charge or positive charge, but it's always happening. It's never not happening. So with millions of charges going off at one time in your body, it's not a mystery that there would be there would be a collective electromagnetic energy that just covers your entire body, because these charges are going off continuously, millions of them going off constantly. All right, listen, I gotta go talk to my wife. Right, y'all sit on that. Let's regroup tomorrow. All right, y'all have a good night. Thanks for coming out, and we're gonna continue where we left off. All right, peace out. I didn't get to my music, but maybe tomorrow night. Peace out. Babes, did she